Hello everyone, and welcome to Partner Play for Martial Artists. My name is Reesa and this is my partner Frank, and we're going to be walking you through a really fun, exciting class today that's going to be stretching and strengthening and balancing, and it's all going to be in a new partner play format. So before we get started, I just wanted to mention that my partner and I are already in the same household. We're already in close contact. And so this is in keeping with COVID-19 and physical distancing regulations. So for yourselves, make sure that you choose a partner that will allow everybody to stay safe and keep with those regulations so that we can all do what we have to do. We're going to go through a few different sets here. Each set is going to start a little bit more gentle and become more challenging as we go along. So be sure to check in with your body, know where your limits are, respect your limits, respect your partner's limits. You might feel a variety of things as we actually go through this, but you should never feel pain. So if ever you're feeling any kind of pain, be sure that you pull back gently from what you're doing and take a little break. Okay, so grab your kid or grab your roommate or grab your partner and make sure you're already warmed up. So you can warm up using one of the weekly warm-up video or any intro to any Douvris class, and then let's get playing. Okay, so we're going to start by bringing in the martial artist focus before we do anything else. So you're just going to sit, maybe it's cross-legged or maybe it's in any comfortable position next to your partner. And we're going to use our partner to focus this time. So usually we focus inside of ourselves. This time we're going to focus outside of ourselves on the person in front of us. And the first step is just going to be to let yourself take in just your partner's general presence in front of you. So you're not looking at anything in particular, you're just noting your partner, you're becoming aware of your partner sitting in front of you. Let's just take a moment here. And then we'll hone the focus a little bit more, focus deeper. Try to see if you can narrow your focus just to your partner's face. How often do we interact with somebody without really taking them in? So let's see if we can really take in our partner. Just for another moment, see if you can bring your focus right to your partner's eyes. All right, now that we're grounded, we'll start to move our bodies. So the first things we're going to do will be standing up. Okay, so you're going to face your partner, and now the distance that you take between you and your partner is going to depend on how tall you are, whether you're practicing with a big person or a little person. If your person is really little, maybe you want to get down on your knees. You want to be about the same height, which is why I say get down on your knees if your person is very little. And we're going to start to just lean into each other and catch our hands. Feel free to play with your feet here, so try to find a comfortable position where you can really let your weight fall into your partner. Come back a little bit. Yeah. Just see if you can balance here. What happens if you lean a little bit more into your partner? If they lean a little bit more into you? Take one step closer to your partner. So narrow the gap. A little closer. And now we're going to lean into each other again and open the arms. So see if you can move at the exact same time. So we're starting off slow coming back up, shaking that out. We're gonna go in one more time and do a different kind of movement together. Take one step closer. Okay. Now we're gonna open up to the camera. Feel that stretch on the side. Back up. And stretch on the other side. And back up. Very good. So now we're going to see if we can stretch our legs together. So one of you, we'll start with singles and then we'll move on to doubles and then we'll do it a different way. So with singles, what I mean by that is one person is going to lift up their leg in a front kick and is going to hold it out. Hold it out. And then when your partner's ready for some support, you're going to come in and hold your partner's leg. Now, if you want to do singles, you're going to do this for each leg, for each partner separately. We're going to jump into doubles. So I'm going to bring my leg up into a front kick. Try to see if you can give your partner the stretch they're looking for. Coming down gently, letting go. Come back into chamber if you can, and down. Shaking it out. Okay. Ready for the next one? So I'm going to bring my leg up. When I'm balanced, he's going to bring his leg up. Hold your balance here. And when you're ready, let it go. Okay. So now we're going to do that again, but we're going to move together. So I'm going to start with my right leg. My partner's going to start with his. So we're on the same side. And we're going to see if we can press into each other and raise our feet up. Try to keep your balance if you can. You can try that again. So the first time you do it, it's going to be the hardest. Go back in as your body learns and your mind learns a little bit more what you're doing. You might see that the second time becomes a little bit easier. Same mic. Okay, coming down. So that was the first side. Now we're going to do the second side. You'll find you need to press into each other to come up. Shaking it out. And we'll do it one more time. Second side. Very good. Okay, so now you and your partner are going to stand back to back. And it will take some adjustment to see how you want to hook your arms in a way that's comfortable for everyone. Again, if your person's very little, feel free to go down on your knees to do this. And one of you is going to lean forward to bring the other one into a nice back bend. So you want to go ahead first. You can go forward more if you can. And coming back up. When you first do this, it might take a couple of tries, and you might have to explore moving down or up to divide their weight in a way that you can lift. So you come up. I'm going to move down to split his weight and lean over. Notice how my knees stay in a bend to keep them safe. Coming up. All right, checking that out. Okay, so that was a challenge. We're gonna go for a little bit more challenge. You're gonna go back to that back-to-back posture with your partner, hooking the arms. Now what we're gonna do is see if we can together lower ourselves to the ground. So we're moving as one, we're like one machine. No parts. There you go. And then we have to come back up. And now that we're up, we're going to come down one more time. Notice how you have to give each other space and also take some space from each other, right? Ready? And come back up. Okay, shaking that off. We have one more standing posture. We're going to come side by side. So tree pose is one of those classical yoga poses that many people, or maybe even most people, know. Maybe you haven't seen it like this. So we're going to do the partner tree pose, meaning us together are going to form the trunk and our arms together are going to form the leaves. So the first thing we're going to do is go side by side. We'll keep a little bit of a distance between us, but you'll see how much distance is the right distance for you in a moment when you try. We're going to put our arms around each other. Usually a taller person's arm is on top. And we're going to bring our feet together, soles of the feet together. And that's steady. We're going to bring our hands up. It can be tricky. Try to see if you can find each other's hands without looking. That's what we're going to do for these hands. So now the hands that are on each other's waists are going to come up. And so we started to fall out, but let's see if we can come back down in the same order that we came up in. So top hands down, outside, arms down, and soles of the feet down. Good. Shake it out. So know that if you're doing these poses and you are wiggling and you are struggling, know that that is very normal. Let your body try to explore the balance. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, soles of the feet come in. One side might be easier than the other. Since we're so good with this side, we're gonna see if we can come up to our toes. We're gonna try again. All right, coming. One more time. Okay, coming down. So hands down, and feet down. Shaking it out. Okay, so now we've done some challenge. We're gonna come back to our seated position, but this time we're gonna go back to back. So you have a couple of options here. You can sit cross-legged, or you can come into butterfly. I like the butterfly, so I'll do this one. Just try to catch your breath. We're going to do another back bending leaning posture. This time it's going to be a little bit gentler, a little subtler. So your partner is going to start to lean forward, allowing you to come back and just rest and get cozy. Might take some exploration to see how far, how deep is what your bodies want, each of your bodies want in this moment. And you can stay here for as long as you want, and when you're ready, we'll start to come up and switch directions. So now I'm going to lean forward, letting my partner rest. Okay, so now we're going to do a couple of poses in sequence, one partner at a time. How do we do this? Maybe you come down first into child's pose. So one of you is going to come down into child's pose. As you see Frank doing, it's just placing your head on the ground. Your knees can be open or closed. Your hands can be behind or in front. It's really as you wish. And I'm going to come behind him. I'm going to put my feet, my legs outside of him, and I'm going to line up our butts. So it's going to take some exploration here to see whether you want to come up or you want to go low, or whether you want to start far or close. So we've done this before, so I know that I want to come here, and I'm going to lean back into another back bend. Now the beauty of the back bend with the partner is that you have someone to assist you to get a little bit deeper into the posture if you want. So he's gonna bring his hands out and try to see if he can find my hands. And he's gonna give just a gentle pull. Slowly come up. You can hold your partner's lower back to help you get up. You might give a quick little counter pose there for the back. Okay, part number 2 is that partner's gonna come back down. And partner's gonna push up into a downward dog. So pushing through exactly the heels, the hips come up. Now Now we have 3 different things that we can do here. Step 1, we're going to come to the front of the partner, place our hands on the lower back or somewhere on the back, and we're just going to push gently to give them a bit of a stretch. So this is if we mostly want to stretch and take this easy or gentle. So we can do this. The partner comes down, takes a rest for a sec. When you're ready, come back up. Now, option number 2 gets to be a little bit more fun. First, you want to press down on your partner, see if they're in a good place to be supporting this weight, if they feel comfortable. If no, then we're not going to do this part. If they're comfortable enough, I'm going to see if I can put a little bit more weight. He's a little bit high for me, so I always struggle with this part. But I'm going to gradually see if I can shift my weight up and come into a bit of a plank. Okay. See if you can get your balance there. Okay, let's take another rest. We have option number 3 now. When partner's ready, they're going to come up into down dog again. For those of us who know barn balances and love them, we're going to use our partner as a wall to help us get into the scorpion. So I'm going to put my head down, bring my legs up. So you can practice those, see which ones are accessible to you and your partner at any given time, and spend as much time as you want exploring them. We're going to keep going so we can show you what this looks like when it's flipped. So I'm going to come into a child's pose next. Partner's going to come around my back. So our backs are facing each other. And he's going to come down to his knees and placing his legs on the outside of my body. And you'll see that where he ends up going into his back bend, how we're aligned is different. Come back up. You good? So now I'm going to push into a down dog. And he's going to explore whichever of the 3 options he wants to explore today. So coming around my front. And notice that he can arrange himself so that he's getting a good calf or hamstring stretch out of this as well. To put your weight on my back. So I'm going to come back up. Partner's going to test out to see if I'm in a good pose to carry his weight. And he's going to come up and plank. Awesome. Okay. Feel free to try number 3 as well. And we're going to come back to sitting back to back and just take a moment to breathe. Okay. Okay. So if we're ready for more, let's see what I have next for you on the agenda. Eyes. Okay. Ready? All right, so going into the next one, you're going to turn and face your partner. So we're going to do some leg stretches, and then we're going to do some play again. So Let's see, do we start with both or end with both? Let's end with both. So we'll start with just a stretch. So putting your feet, the soles of your feet together. Now it might be a little bit tricky. Ideally, you're gonna be able to catch each other's hands. See if that's possible. And if not, you can just place your hands down on your legs, or one person can come closer and you can take turns grabbing onto each other. Now my partner's gonna see if he can give me a deeper stretch. So pulling in more. I'm gonna pull him in more. When you're ready, coming up. So that's that one. Okay. Now we're going to continue with the Douvris special. Although this one we practiced it so much in class, we're going to open our legs. We're going to do it with a bit of a spin that maybe not everybody has done before. So open your legs at a comfortable spot, but get them open. And notice how he's also opening his legs, but his legs aren't going to match up. His feet won't match up with my feet, but that doesn't matter. So do whatever you have to do to be able to align yourselves. And then we're gonna grab hold of each other's arms. Now notice our grip. I'm grabbing his wrist and he's grabbing my wrist. We're gonna hold on to each other. And now we're going to rock the boat. So as I come down, he's coming forward. And we'll switch. Switch again. Try to see if it's different the second time around. And we'll switch again. Awesome. And coming back up. And now it's time for the play. So we're gonna bring our feet together. We'll start off with our feet on the ground. And we're gonna grab each other's hands. Okay, so this works best when you lift one foot at a time, but you at home might build up to see if you can lift both feet at a time. We're still working on it. So we're gonna lift one leg, and while that leg is up, we're gonna lift the other one. See if you can come into boat pose together. And now bring that last one down, and the first one down, and now come up in the other sequence. See if you can keep your balance like this. And what did we do? This one down, and then this one down. All right, shaking it out. You want to do it again?
Sure, shake together.
Together? All right, let's try together. A little gentler on this hand. Okay. Okay, not bad. So one foot came up a little bit first. Let's see if we can do it again. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're getting there. Okay, so let's see what the next play exercise is. We've got the leg stretches. Aha, okay. So now, I'm gonna put you into camel. So now we're gonna do camel pose. So one partner is gonna come onto their knees. Awesome. And So what we're gonna do is reach back and grab onto our heels, but that might be a little bit intense for people. And so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to support his lower back to help him to ease into that. Okay. So he's gonna start to reach back. I'm going to put my arm on his lower back, so it's pretty low, it's almost on his butt, and he's gonna reach back. So only as far as he's comfortable. Remember, we've done this before. You may not have. So if you haven't, just see what happens if you move about an inch or two in either direction. You can let go. So his eyes are telling me that I can let go, so I'm gonna let go. It's good, and when he's ready, I can give him the assist to come back up. Good. So we're gonna switch the other side. For those of you who are quite flexible, you can just come down into this. And then you can go into the next variation here, which is gonna be the come down. So come down. And then see if you can just be here. And if this is accessible to you, maybe the next variation is as well. So I'm gonna put my hands down as though I were coming up into a bridge. And now your partner's support my back to give you a deeper stretch. Okay, coming down. And now your partner can come in front of you. Take your hands and help you up. Thank you, partner. Okay, all right. So we have a couple more things for you to explore with your partners. Now, partner's gonna come down. One of you is gonna come down and lie down on the ground. With the legs outstretched. Outstretched. And so the partner who's gonna be up in the air is gonna get ready to go up in the air by standing at their hips like this. I'm going to put my hands down and his hands are up. He's gonna catch one foot at a time. There you go. Okay. So now, so you can stay here, and this is already plenty. And if you want to explore more, you can start to shift your weight forward and come up into a pike. I'm going to move forward, it'll be easier. Now arms up. There you go. Okay, that one takes a lot of practice, but I think you saw what happened there. In that moment where I was up, almost like the top of a rectangle, and he was sitting up, almost making the bottom of the rectangle. So if you can even try to explore that pose, awesome. If you can start to move into it, awesome. And if you can hold it for even a second, awesome. So we're gonna try it in the other direction now. So I'm gonna be on the ground. So, start with your weight a little further back. So ideally, my arm is gonna be in a right angle right now. That's what's gonna allow me to best support his weight. Other leg up. Now he's gonna shift his weight forward. And now he's gonna pike. Okay, I'm gonna put it down. Okay, that was pretty good. Okay. So you can pause the video here, explore a little bit with your partners, see what you can come to do. We have another kind of crazy posture to do next. So this is going to be a reverse tabletop with a headstand. So when we're ready, these are a lot more challenging than they look, especially when you do them in sequence. We're getting quite a workout here. Okay, so partners in reverse tabletop. I'm going to come over and place my head right between his knees, and I'm gonna grab onto his hamstrings. Now, I'm gonna bring out my legs. I'm bracing myself. I'm gonna come up into a headstand. Try to come down smooth, even through the shakes. Awesome. Okay. We're gonna try this in reverse now. So I'm quite used to headstands. I've been doing them for a long, long, long time. So that's very accessible to me. For someone for whom headstands are less accessible, I'm gonna show you what we can do to slowly build up to this. So I'm gonna come into reverse tabletop. He's gonna place his head and hold on with his arms. Now he's going to raise just one leg at a time. Probably wanna make sure you're breathing through this. If you're doing this with a little person, it'll be quite a bit easier than if you're doing it with a big one. One more time. Okay, coming down. Okay, notice that I'm starting to shake quite a bit there. And even still, even though it was getting hard to hold, I didn't just plop down, right? Because I don't want to hurt my partner. So I communicated that it was a lot. And we found a way to come down slowly. Okay, all right. So why don't we take a second and come back to our back-to-back pose here for a sec. Bring down that heart rate a little bit. You feel your partner again. I just noticed there's a posture we didn't do that we can do well over here. So let's do it now before we go into the next part, which is going to be acro yoga play. Before we go there, so I'm going to take the butterfly pose again, so putting the soles of my feet together. We're going to do a spinal twist. We're doing so much back bending and so much rounding the back. We're just going to tackle the sides for a sec. So with our backs together like this, I'm going to take my closest hand to him. He's going to reach back and grab his knee, and the other hand as I rotate is going to grab my knee. So I'm intentionally not saying sides there because everyone's going to be doing something different, but reach back and grab the closest knee to your hand and put the other hand on the opposite knee. So you can even pull on your partner's knee and anchor the twist a little bit more if you want, or you can just stay where you are, take a rest. Notice how it feels when your partner's breath is felt into your back. It's a sensation we don't often feel. Okay, other side. You can press down on my knee a little bit more. So now I'm using my partner to help me stretch a little bit more. It's pressing down on my knee. So again, you can do that as much as you want, for as long as you want, and explore different positions within that. That got us nice and relaxed. So we're going to be ready for our last segment together, or second to last segment together, called acro yoga. So you're going to stand up. So there are two positions in acro yoga. One is the base, and one is the flyer. What we're doing is, we often do this with children outside of partner yoga or acro yoga. We lift the other person up on our feet when we're lying on the ground. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. So I will first be the base, then I can talk through the important posture elements to keep in mind when we're doing this. So as the base,
I'm going to lie down on my back, and my back is going to be flush against the ground. My shoulders are relaxed. I'm going to lift up my legs, and my partner is going to come close, and we'll talk that through during the flyer portion, but I'm going to let my partner put my feet anywhere that they want. Now, I'm going to start shifting. I'm going to hold partner's weight and shift it to that 90-degree angle where I'm really stable. Really important that when I do that, I don't want my head or my shoulders to come up. Sometimes we want to pull with our abs, but we're not going to do that. We're going to let the upper body relax, and it's really mostly my legs working. So to start, I'm going to grab their hand. So I'm going to hold my hand like this, and partner's going to exactly. So thumbs are near thumbs. That's the safest pose so that we can get out at any given time. All right. So when we're ready, I'm going to shift the weight, and he's going to come up. So he's on to the part where we explore bringing one hand up at a time. See if you can bring both hands up at a time. Good. Often we want to stay really tense here to like power through and hold our partner. And also it can be so special just to relax into holding your partner. And when your partner's ready, he's nodding, I'm going to gently, if I can, bring him back to the ground. Do you want to do the stretch? So we didn't practice this, but sometimes if we want to take really good care of our base, we might hold on to their ankles and pull their feet that way, just to give them a nice stretch, yeah, side to side. It's a nice little way to say thank you to your base. Maybe not all the way down, just more gentle back and forth. Great, okay. So now we're gonna switch, and I'll talk you through the flyer, and we'll probably do the rest of the acro poses in this position. So he's doing what he needs to be doing his base, he's scanning his body, make sure he feels safe and strong. And I'm going to take his feet. So for women and men, the positioning is usually different because different parts of our bodies are usually heavier. So for myself, I like his feet to be really on so the balls of his feet are on my hip bones. If I was carrying a lot of muscle on top and less weight at my lower body, he would probably be higher up. So keep that in mind if you have that body type. And I'm going to move forward just until I really start to feel that tension. Now, so I'm not as good a flyer as I am a base. I'm a lot less comfortable with this pose. It's a bit of a challenge for me. But just in terms of safety, I'm going to plank my body, but with my hands forward, right? So as I reach forward, it's important that my body stays straight and I surrender and let him do the work. Okay. Nice. Can you push a little bit more into your bring your legs forward a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now I feel, I'm starting to feel secure in this posture. We've got a good one. Can you push the balls of your feet a little higher up? Like angle your feet. Yeah. Yeah. And gently come back down. Okay, awesome. Did it. Okay, let's stretch out your feet. So we're gonna do a couple of other play poses like that. Okay. So now we're gonna see if I can come up with no hands. So, disclaimer, if you're doing this for the first time, do exactly what we've already done. Practice until you get very comfortable with this before you move on. If you want to know what you could be aiming for, or you're already ready to continue on, then you can follow us. So once I'm comfortable with getting up with my base, so it's going to be a good one. Now we're going to see if I can do it, and not by holding his hands. Okay, so my hands are going to come in front. This is called bird. And I'm probably going to have to come in closer. And we'll see if we haven't practiced this one in months. So we'll see if we can do this one. Okay, further. So we've got a chat. We're going to share with each other how we're feeling, what our impressions are, and how that might be able to work better the second time. We'll give it another try. All right. Just take a second, breathe. Good idea to have a safe word. So for us, we usually just say okay, and that's our cue. You might use the same word or a different one. Okay, so staying down. Yep. We have 2 more. When you're ready. Okay, this one's gonna look a little bit different. Can you scooch down? Is that this one? Okay, perfect. So now I'm gonna stand to either side of my partner, and he's gonna bring his legs up. This one for us only works in this direction. I can't base for this one because the heights are off. So he's going to come and put his feet into my armpits. And these are almost gonna be like shelves for my armpits. At the same time as he's gonna grab onto my legs from the inside. Yeah, and lift me. Kind of like a chair. I might even try to cross my legs from here. Maybe not today. Try. Yeah. Can you bring that foot up? It bends that way, I promise. There you go. There you go. There you go. And maybe even hands of prayer. All right, gently coming down. So that's one to play with. Hold on, up. Okay, that's one to play with. We're gonna take a second and catch our breath, and then we have another monster to show you. Now when you're ready, so we're going into chair. To chair. Okay, so. So legs up. We're gonna come into this one the same way. This is gonna be the standard flying pose. Let's begin. And now, as I move my foot, you're gonna see how, at the same time as I do that, partner who's basing is going to bring their foot in behind my knee on my thigh. And other side. Okay. Up. There you go. Now I'm going to grab onto his feet. Up. Straight arms. The straighter your partner's arms, the easier it's going to be. Straight arms. Coming up to chair pose. Coming down.
Awesome. Bring it down. Yes. Okay, so it's a tricky one. It will obviously take a lot of work. We've been working on this intermittently for a while, right? Okay, so we have one more series, or one more exercise really for you guys. How about we take a second and come back into seated back-to-back pose. Take a rest. It takes a lot of strength and a lot of energy to base, especially if you're doing it to a full-grown human and not just to a little person. So let everyone come back down, let the heart rate come back down. Feel your partner again. So this one is a less physically challenging pose, and it's just a nice way to end the play practice. We call this mirroring. You might have seen this if you've done any kind of like drama or other kind of, I don't know where else you would have done it, sometimes as an icebreaker in group activities. So, do you want to start? Okay. So, what we're going to do is that we're just standing facing each other for right now, and we're going to pretend that there's a mirror in front of us. And every movement that he makes, I have to embody and make as well. And so I'm fully attending to as many parts of him as I can all at once, and I'm reflecting him back to him. So feel free to do this on your own at home while we do this. Tap into that creative energy. Alright. So you saw, like Frank did, play with rhythm, play with range of motion, do all kinds of silly things. Okay, I'm gonna notice silly things. Ready? Okay, so that's the end of our partner play class for this time. I hope you had fun. Let us know if you have any questions, and enjoy. Take care. We'll see you soon.